First, the Court of Appeal has strongly suggested that Section 377A is unconstitutional. It is in breach of Article 12. And second, the locus standi point is anything but complete. So what are the possible consequences if 377A is struck down? Then the definition of marriage as it stands today will almost certainly be challenged by someone. The government is moving to keep the current definition of marriage within the province of Parliament, amending the Constitution to prevent any challenge in the courts on that. Because in our view, that has to be decided in Parliament, not anywhere else.
Speaking here from Hong Kong, I think we should leave the Constitution and the courts alone, right? The government will repeal 377A, that is a done deal. And I think we should initiate discussion, a public discussion on same-sex marriage. Right? Dispassionately, the government should assess the arguments for and against and make a decision as to which set of arguments are stronger or not.
If we accept that this is the province of Parliament, then this should be debated in Parliament. If anybody wants to change the definition of marriage, if that's what Singaporeans want, somebody has got to organize themselves, put it on your manifesto, argue, go into the general elections arguing that this is what you stand for, win the elections, change the law. Definition of marriage that exists today in the Women's Charter is something this government is deeply committed to. And we believe that while many people would either not mind or would be welcome the repeal of 377A, we don't think Singaporeans are ready for a major sea change in the tonality of our society and the way our society is. Because people recognize that this government has a substantive majority in Parliament, and because it has made clear its stand, I can imagine those who would like to see the change in the definition would prefer that the matter be dealt with in the courts. They stand a better chance in the courts than they stand in Parliament. But that's not democracy.
You have raised to me an important issue in terms of educating the public with very difficult legal issues. But having said that, you as a law student should realize that technical knowledge does not necessarily engender understanding of the issues.
A little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. For example, one of the common misconceptions in the United States is that the United States Constitution states that there's a separation of state and religion, or separation of state, church and state. The Constitution of the United States says nothing of that sort. It has a clause about non-establishment of religion. But if you ask a lay person, they will tell you that many lay persons will tell you that the Constitution has a clear clause on the separation of state and church and state. So I think we need to be also very careful about how we communicate some of these information. And I think forums like this, where we could have a very clear discussion about what the Constitution says, about what the cases say would be helpful. And then, the communication to the masses about what the Constitution requires, that is something that then needs to be communicated clearly as well.
There are many ways to make social change, and some ways work better for some countries. In the US, it does seem to me like it's a team sport. So one side takes a position, and everything that side does is right, and the other side takes the opposite position, and everything that the other side does is wrong. And it's fought out on a battleground because that's the dynamic that they're used to. And it has to be a 1-0 win-loss outcome, and usually that ends up in court. And if you think about Singapore, We hate that sort of thing. So when we get really upset, what do? We used to write to the Straits Times forum page. And we used to go to Meet the People session. And we still do, sorry. But what are we actually doing when we disagree? We are actually looking for a referee. And in Singapore, the referee is the MP, the government, the authority figure. And we trust that referee to get it right.
Cancel culture is something that I've on record as saying that I intend to look at. In fact, my team is looking at very carefully. I've invited volunteers to come and work with us because I think it's very wrong. In real life, we will not allow 5 people to come together and beat you up. Why are we allowing it in the virtual world? So my approach and our approach is, after this repeal, which we think is the right thing to do and it should come as a relief for a lot of people. They're not criminals. But at the same time, no one else should be required to accept a different tone to society because some people believe in it.